Hello, everybody. I am Brian Brinkley. I'm the director of the Ed Lab. I didn't get to meet you the other night, and Dr. Owsley asked if I could do a little video to complete the introduction that you got the other night, so I thought I would do that. I'm going to be looking over to the side, and what I'm doing is looking at my computer screen. I have up the PowerPoint for the first lab class. That's what we call it in the lab when we do the orientation. So I'm going to be flipping back and forth on that. If you'd like to follow along on that PowerPoint, you can find it online. The online address is www.uncw.edu/ed/edlab. And then over on the left-hand side, you'll see a link that says WCE Students. Click on that. And then scroll on down to where you see the PowerPoints, and it's PowerPoint number 1. This is a PowerPoint that we use for our EDN 322 and 340 students. So some of the details might be a little different than what I'm going to tell you, but it still has good information if you'd like to follow along. I'm going to be going by that particular PowerPoint slide. Again, the website is www.uncw.edu/ed/edlab. And then left-hand side, WCE Students. Scroll to the bottom, and it says PowerPoint 1. So I'm going to go by that. First of all, I just want to welcome you to the lab. It's going to be a good time. I know that Ms. Hagler told you basics about how the thing works, and we're going to get you a kiddo. You're going to get to do some tutoring and apply some of the strategies that you're learning in the course with the child, but probably most importantly, what happens is you get to be a professional, to start to be the teacher that you want to be. That's really what it's all about, and you get to do it in a safe, supportive environment of the Ed Lab. We help you with lesson plans and look at reflections afterwards. So I'm probably going to break this up into 3 5-minute videos if I possibly can, and then you can look at them at your leisure. Again, it talks on that PowerPoint about the purposes of the lab, to grow as a teacher and work with a child, to meet and talk with parents and writing lesson plans. I guess, in fact, it really is about the big picture of getting to be a teacher, to get to do those things that teachers do and do it with just one child. You're really, really going to enjoy getting to know the one child that you are paired with. The basics for you guys is that this 10 hours of instruction are required for the course, and the work that you do in the lab will play into your grade in the LIC 552 class. So just be clear with Dr. Owsley which parts you're doing for her, and I'll clarify what you're doing for the lab in a little while. So we'll place you with a student soon, as I'm sure that Ms. Hagler told you. The middle school students are hard to come by, but they are calling in slowly but surely. Since you only have 10 hours to finish, even if you get started a little bit later than others, you will still have plenty of time to do that 10 hours before April. If you think about it, really, you've got about 11 weeks to do 10 hours of work, and I'm sure that you'll be able to figure out how to do that. We will work with you. So we'll place you, and as soon as we get a placement for you, we will give you a call and give you the details to make the phone call to the parent. Finalize your schedule with that parent and let them know which days and times you're available. We know that you can work it out. You'll submit a lesson plan for your first session. You received a first day lesson plan, and I'll talk you through that probably a little bit later. Those lesson plans are really, really important because that way we know that you are prepared for the session, and we also know which days and times to record that you have met for those 10 hours. Something you'll want to know is about the lab schedule. The lab schedule is important because you're going to probably want to come into the lab and use the resources that we have, probably the most important of which are the people who work in there. Come and ask us questions, pick our brains, ask us to help you find resources, and we'll point you in the right direction, but you need to know when we're open. So we're open for planning time Monday through Thursday from 9 o'clock till 3, and on Fridays from 9 o'clock till 12 o'clock. I'm usually there a little bit earlier than that, so if you see the lights on, you are welcome to come in. Tutoring happens between 3 and 6, so we ask that during that time you really not use it for planning, because we have 20 to 30 kids, 20 to 30 tutors in there at that time, and we try to keep it to the tutoring observations that we do. So Monday through Thursday in the morning times, and then Friday in the morning. Those are good planning times too. Speaking of lesson plans, I know that first one that you've been given is what we call a paper pencil plan, and those are due by noon the day that you tutor. I'll say that again because it's important. Noon the day you tutor. That way we have time to look at them and get them back to you. Now, you're welcome to turn them in early, but at least by noon the day of gives us time to be able to get it back to you. You'll see on the slide that I'm looking at, I'm up to slide number 9 now. It says that there's also a TaskStream lesson planning option. TaskStream is an online lesson planning tool. A little bit less organic than the paper pencil, I think, but if you'd like to use the TaskStream, you can talk to one of the EdLab staff members. We'll get you set up, and it's a little bit more convenient for some people who don't have classes in the building and might need to drive back and forth to turn in those paper pencils. We can get you set up on TaskStream. There is a cost associated with it. You have a subscription to the TaskStream website, but it's kind of a fair trade, I think. Note about turning in lesson plans. We have a turn-in box in the lab. It's called the lesson plan drop-off box. We just ask that you turn in your lesson plans by 12 o'clock day of tutoring in a 2-pocket folder. That way we can keep everybody organized. We have about 115 tutors this semester, so it's really important for you to do that. Anyway, if you will turn those in, drop them off, and give us about an hour to look at them, then we will put them back in the teal box underneath the counter. That's the return box. You just come in, flip through, find yours, and then check to make sure it has been approved. There's a little space on the lesson plan for approval. If you don't find it in there, ask one of us. There's another box that we have over to the right-hand side of the grading desk, and sometimes we need things from you, like the book titles or a date or a time, and we'll put it over there to make sure that we get what we need to record it and give you credit where credit is due. You might want to refer to that calendar that you were given. It has some key lab dates in it. It lets you know when the lab is closed, when it's open. In general, you will see that you have, like I said earlier, about 11 sessions. About 11 weeks to do your 10 hours of tutoring. Most people will accomplish that with 10 one-hour sessions. Have a little bit of flexibility there, so if you think that the calendar is not going to work in your favor to do those 10 sessions of 1 hour, then we can rearrange and figure out a different way to do that. But I think most people would want those 10 hours because it spaces out enough to give you some good think time between, some good reflection time to be able to think about how to improve your tutoring with this one child. I think that's about enough for right now. I'm going to pause this one and start a different video and talk a little bit more about the other things on this PowerPoint as an introduction. Thanks.